February 21st, 1991. 5:52 a.m. The pre-dawn silence hangs over Kuwait's Bergen oil field until a thunderous explosion shatters the peace. In the field's central control room, veteran engineer Asa Boyabis watches in horror as pressure gauges spike into the red zone. Before he can reach for his radio, another explosion rocks the building. Through the observation window, he sees it. The first tower of flame punches through the darkness. This isn't just any oil field under attack, this is the legendary Bergen field. Since 1938, it has been the crown jewel of Kuwait's oil industry. With reserves of 70 billion barrels, it stands as the second largest conventional oil field on Earth. 5 decades of engineering achievement, 5 decades of national prosperity, all about to become an inferno. The complex array of valves, nicknamed Christmas trees by the oilmen, are being systematically destroyed. Iraqi forces, under direct orders, are turning Kuwait's most precious resource into an apocalyptic vision. These wells, these very same wells that had faithfully fueled Kuwait's development for half a century, are now becoming weapons turned against their own nation. What begins as a military retreat will become the largest deliberate oil fire in history. Within hours, more than 700 wells will be ablaze, their flames hot enough to melt steel, their smoke turning day into night. The fires will release more oil in one day than the entire Deepwater Horizon disaster, creating an environmental catastrophe visible from space. To fight this inferno will require something unprecedented, the largest non-military mobilization in history. 10,000 people, 40 countries, all united, waging a different kind of war against an enemy that could burn for decades. The seeds of destruction were planted years earlier, in the aftermath of another conflict. 1988, Iraq emerges from its 8-year war with Iran, economically crippled. The numbers tell a devastating story. Kuwait alone is owed $14 billion, while oil prices, the region's economic lifeblood, have plummeted to just $18 per barrel. For Iraq's war-ravaged economy, and it's barely enough to survive, Saddam Hussein makes his demand to OPEC raise oil prices, help Iraq recover. But Kuwait does the opposite. They increase production, driving prices even lower. Behind closed doors, Saddam's fury builds. He accuses Kuwait of waging economic warfare. But his true plans are far more sinister than mere diplomatic protests. December 1990. While the world's eyes focus on peace negotiations, Iraqi military engineers are quietly at work. They study Kuwait's oil infrastructure with chilling precision. This isn't preparation for simple sabotage. This is the groundwork for environmental warfare on an unprecedented scale. Each wellhead, carefully measured, each explosive charge, precisely calculated. Their goal isn't destruction, it's devastation. The Iraqi military has turned petroleum engineering against itself, learning exactly where to place charges to create the most persistent fires possible. January 16, 1991. Operation Desert Storm begins. The first wells are lit. Iraqi forces claim they need smoke cover against coalition aircraft. But this is just a preview. The real devastation awaits. A systematic scorched earth campaign that will transform Kuwait into a hellscape. It's like looking at the gateway to hell. The words fall from Kuwaiti firefighter Hassan al-Majid's lips as he stands at the edge of Bergen Field. From horizon to horizon, black smoke has transformed dawn into an endless night. But the darkness, that's the least of their problems. Deep beneath Kuwait's desert, oil reservoirs lay under crushing pressure, 7,000 pounds per square inch, enough raw force to shoot a column of oil 300 feet into the air. As each wellhead detonates, this pressurized oil becomes something terrifying. What veteran firefighter Red Adair calls nature's blowtorch. The flames reach 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt steel platforms into liquid pools. In the world of firefighting, normalcy means control, just 1 or 2 fires to contain. But this time, everything changed. 500 blazing infernos stretched across the horizon, burning in relentless succession. Yet the sheer number of fires wasn't even the true horror. The Iraqi demolition teams had crafted something far more sinister. Their brutal ingenuity would test the limits of human endurance. Some wellheads, completely destroyed, others partially damaged, creating unpredictable spray patterns of death. Oil pools on the ground, forming lakes that could ignite without warning. The intense heat cooks spilled oil into a thick crust, building volcano-like mounds, making the wells nearly impossible to reach, and scattered throughout the field, thousands of landmines, waiting to surprise any firefighting team that ventures too close. Then, the fires begin creating their own weather system. Intense heat generates powerful updrafts, pulling in fresh oxygen, feeding the infernos. Toxic rain falls constantly, a mixture of oil, soot, and chemicals. The firefighters call it the Kuwait shower, black rain that stains their skin and burns their eyes. "We're not just fighting fires," Canadian team leader Mike Miller says grimly. "We're fighting a force of nature that we've never seen before." The fires release more than 6 million barrels of oil every single day. Think about that. Every 4 hours. An Exxon Valdez disaster. At this rate, these fires could burn for up to 50 years. In the suffocating heat of Kuwait's burning oil fields, where temperatures surge beyond 130 degrees Fahrenheit, an unprecedented international alliance is taking shape. The challenge ahead demands innovation, and from across the globe, it arrives in the most extraordinary forms. Enter the Hungarian team, with a machine that looks like it rolled straight out of a science fiction movie, Big Wind, a Soviet T-34 tank transformed by twin MiG-21 jet engines. Inside its cramped cabin, driver Karoly Naj operates in near-total darkness, his world reduced to just 2 guiding lights on the control panel, red for left, green for right. The inferno outside is so intense, the tank requires its own compressed air system just to prevent its crew from cooking alive. "They thought we were crazy," Nagy recalls with pride, until they saw what Big Wind could do. This mechanical beast unleashes 27,000 pounds of thrust, mixed with water, directly at the flames, accomplishing in minutes what conventional teams struggle with for days. The Canadian team arrives with their own breakthrough, the Foam 1 system. "Water alone won't cut it in this desert," team leader Mike Miller explains with determination. Their specialized firefighting chemical is a game changer, requiring just 1/10 the water of conventional methods. Crucial when every precious drop must be pumped from the Persian Gulf, dozens of miles away. But the most dangerous job, that belongs to the mine clearance teams. These specialists, many hardened by experience in Afghanistan's treacherous minefields, crawl through oil-soaked sand, invisibility near zero. Each step could be your last, British mine specialist James Walker remembers grimly. The mines are bad enough, but when you're working mere feet from a fire that melts steel, your margin for error? Absolutely zero. The Texas teams, led by legendary figures Red Adair and Boots Hansen, bring decades of experience and a solution that seems almost mad, fighting fire with fire. They position barrels of C4 explosive near the wellheads using precisely calculated charges to create a momentary vacuum, starving the flames of oxygen. "You've got one shot," Adair warns his team before each attempt. "Miss the timing, and you've just added fuel to hell." These explosions demand perfection, powerful enough to snuff out the flame, but precise enough to preserve the wellhead. For Kuwait's own oil engineers, this isn't just another technical challenge. These aren't just wells to us, Asa Boyabas declares, his voice heavy with emotion. This is our life's work, our country's future, burning before our eyes. Their intimate knowledge of the oil fields becomes invaluable, guiding teams through the labyrinth of pipes and pressure systems. In this roaring inferno, where radio signals die in the flames, teams develop their own universal sign language, born of desperate necessity. A raised fist cuts through the smoke, signaling immediate danger. Two arms waved overhead become a desperate call for emergency retreat. These silent signals, this language of survival, saves countless lives in the face of hell itself. November 6, 1991. Kuwaiti engineer Sarah Akbar stands in silence, watching firefighters approach the last burning well in the Bergen field. 9 months of hell have shown her humanity at its worst and at its finest. The numbers are staggering. 752 wells attacked, 732 set ablaze. More than 6 billion barrels of oil and gas transformed into smoke and flame. The fires released more pollution than nearly every nation on Earth produces in a year, creating an environmental catastrophe that would scar Kuwait for generations. But numbers can't tell you everything, Akbar writes in her field journal, her hand trembling. They can't describe the birds falling dead from toxic skies, or the children struggling to breathe through the endless smoke. They can't capture the way this changed us all. The devastation knows no borders. NASA satellites track poison clouds, traveling thousands of miles, altering weather patterns as far as the Indian subcontinent. The oil lakes stretch across the desert, in some 4 feet deep, creating what scientists grimly call oil sinks, poisoning groundwater for decades to come. The human toll cuts deep. Veterans of the firefighting operation battle persistent respiratory problems, skin conditions, and what doctors would later identify as part of Gulf War syndrome. Kuwait will spend more than $25 billion on cleanup and reconstruction, but some scars can't be measured in any currency. Yet from these ashes of destruction rise unexpected innovations. The techniques forged in Kuwait's Inferno revolutionize oil firefighting worldwide. International laws against environmental warfare grow stronger. Military planners, for the first time, begin to consider the environmental impact of their strategies. Today, the Bergen field still produces oil. Its modern wellheads stand protected by sophisticated security systems. But beneath the desert surface, in layers of contaminated soil, in compromised aquifers, the legacy of those 9 months of burning remains. A veteran firefighter's final report tells the deeper truth. We came to fight fires, but we ended up fighting for the future of a nation. Some victories leave scars that never heal. Some battles change not just the fighters, but the very ground they fought upon. This stands as a stark reminder that in modern warfare, the most devastating weapons might not be those that explode, but those that poison the very foundations of life itself. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more historical documentaries. See you in the next video.